Pierce the Veil is a band that almost everyone in the scene has at least heard of. They are well known for their often screamo-esque music that includes high-pitched vocals, piercing guitars, and bombastic drums. The lead singer Vic Fuentes has also stated in interviews that the band tries to incorporate a hint of Latin influence into all of their songs, with all of the members having Hispanic roots. The group even coined a new label for themselves, Mexicore, meaning a mix of heavy music with a Latin flair. Throughout the years, the band has gotten the chance to tour and work with tons of different bands in the scene, such as A Day to Remember and Sleeping with Sirens. Hey guys, my name is Band Prevail, and today we're going to be discussing the band Pierce the Veil, and how they became known as one of the most iconic bands in the scene. Let's get into it. In December of 1998, a band called Early Times was started by brothers Vic and Mike Fuentes, who were still in high school at the time. They did not know it yet, but this band would be the start of something huge that would change their lives forever. Vic would take on the role of vocalist, and Mike would be the drummer. The brothers brought on friends John Tansel and Michael Bolator on the guitar and drums respectively. Throughout the next few months, they would release a few songs and become very popular locally. Songs such as 5.9, a reference to the alcohol content of Vic's favorite beer, Natural Ice, would become cult classics in their hometown of San Diego. Although many of these songs were not of the highest quality, the Fuentes brothers were both still in high school at the time and had a long musical career ahead of them to continue perfecting their sound. Soon after, they released an EP titled No Turning Back. Although some of the songs from this album have been re-uploaded to YouTube, many of them have been lost to time. The band continued to release music and grow a large fan base locally, eventually attracting the attention of Albany-based record label Equal Vision. Fresh out of high school, the band got signed to the label.
Well, me and Mike actually were in another band before Pierce the Veil began. We originally got signed to Equal Vision Records in New York.
This signing would be huge for the band and allow them to begin working on their first studio album, A Celebration of an Ending, which the group would release in 2004. Shortly before the release of this album, however, the group would be forced to rename the band due to a copyright issue and settled on the moniker of Before Today. The band spent a little over a year touring after the album's release, but unfortunately Joe and Mitchell would leave the band in 2006, leaving the Fuentes brothers as the only remaining members. They rebranded the band once again, settling on the name Pierce the Veil, the title of a song on their previous album. Obviously the name stuck, and this is the name they've continued to use to this day. We
only put out one record, we broke up, and then the label had faith in me and Mike, and they were like, hey, you guys can keep making a record if you want, So we made Pierce the Veil, and that's how we kind of started.
With a new name and a fresh start, the duo would continue work on the new album. They worked with producer Cassie Bates in Seattle, and Vic would record vocals, guitar, and bass by himself for the album, while Mike handled the percussion and keyboards. They released the album, titled A Flair for the Dramatic, in 2007. The project would prove to be very successful and gave him the chance to open for bigger bands such as Mayday Parade and Dance Gavin Dance, as well as play at one date on the 2007 Vans Warped Tour. During this time, the group would also gain two new members to fill out the band, bassist Jaime Preciado and guitarist Tony Perry.
And Jaime, how did you meet these guys?
I actually was the last one to meet the whole group. Tony and I were in a band, kind of same thing. We were just playing in San Diego and doing little runs up and down in the Arizona area and just kind of travel and try to just promote our band. And I think our band kind of fizzled out and broke up, and Tony met these guys at a guitar shop, and I think it just kind of fell into place there. He called us and was like, yo, let's jam.
This would stay as the band's permanent lineup until over a decade later in 2018. 2008 would also be a huge touring year for the band, with the 45-stop national tour in the US with Emery and Mayday Parade in February, as well as playing every date on the 2008 Warped Tour. This year also brought talks of a new project the Fuentes brothers would be a part of. Craig Owens of the band Shoutout and Johnny Craig of Emerosa would form a supergroup called Isles and Glaciers and recruited the Fuentes brothers to play rhythm guitar and drums. The group also included other well-known musicians such as Nick Martin, best known as the guitarist in Sleeping with Sirens, and Matt Goddard, bass player in Shoutout. However, like many supergroups, even with a roster of very talented musicians, the group would never find true success, disbanding after only one EP. Although Vic has stated that the group may continue to release music in the future together, there have been no further updates. Pierce the Veil finished their touring cycle in late 2009 after playing a few dates on Warped Tour, and they began work on their new album. They flight out to Los Angeles and worked with producer Mike Green, who would go on to produce records for some of the biggest bands in the scene, such as A Day to Remember, Sum 41, and All Time Low.
So we're at home in San Diego, getting ready to go record our second album. time to just dive in with my green and see what we can get done.
The first single from the album, The Boy Who Could Fly, was released a few days prior to the album on the band's MySpace page. The album, Selfish Machines, was released in June of 2010. It was received quite well, peaking at number 1 on the US Billboard Heatseekers album chart. It features songs such as Bulletproof Love and Paraphernalia, which have become staples in their discography even to this day. The project includes features and writing credits from some pretty big artists in the scene, mainly Tom Denny and Jeremy McKinnon, both members of A Day to Remember. Denny has co-writing credits on songs such as The Boy Who Could Fly and Disasterology, while McKinnon contributed vocals to Paraphernalia.
For what song?
Cara? Yeah, the song's called Paraphernalia. It features our buddy from A Day to Remember, Jeremy. He screams on it. It's pretty cool.
After a successful release, the band would begin their touring cycle for the album with a spot on the 2010 Warped Tour.
We played the first show of Warped Tour yesterday, and there was already kids singing the new song, so far so good. Woo!
At the start of 2011, they would get the chance to tour with A Day to Remember, Bring Me the Horizon, and We Came as Romans in Europe and the United States, which combined would last almost 3 months. They continued to tour throughout the rest of 2011 with bands such as The Amity Affliction and Miss May I. However, even with all this touring, they would not halt the creation of new music, with the band creating a makeshift studio in the back of their tour bus. They recorded a cover of Bruno Mars' hit song, Just the Way You Are, for the Punk Goes Pop 4 compilation, a collaborative album in which punk bands would cover a variety of different pop songs. Think Kids Bop, but with punk bands instead of kids. 2011 is also the year that the band would part ways with Equal Vision and get signed with a new label, Fearless Records, who they would release their upcoming album with. The band released an update video in December announcing that they were beginning recording for their 3rd album and that all the songs were already written. For this project, the band went to New Jersey and worked with producers Dan Corniff, who's worked with massive artists in the scene such as My Chemical Romance and Paramore, and Kato Kandwala. The first single off of the album, King for a Day, was released on June 5th and featured vocals from Kellen Quinn, the lead singer of Sleeping with Sirens.
You guys just got out the studio working on a new record.
We just released the first single called King for a Day, and it features Kellen Quinn from Sleeping with Sirens.
This song would end up being a career-defining moment for the group, selling over 1 million units and being certified platinum by the RAA at the time of recording this video, with many considering the song to be a pop-punk classic. The band began their 2012 Warped Tour shortly after the song's release, adding it to the set list and bringing Kellen Quinn out during the performances.
Yeah, this is our 3rd Warped, and first time on the main stage, which is pretty insane. But yeah, a lot of homies. It's like bands, like 90% of the bands we've toured with, and it's like can't walk anywhere without saying what's up. You know, it's good. It's good.
Towards the end of Warped Tour, they released another single for the album, Bulls in the Bronx. This song would be another hit for the band and give a sneak peek to the success the upcoming album would bring. The band's 3rd studio album, Collide with the Sky, would be released on July 17th and is by far the band's most popular album to date. It sold 27,000 copies first week and peaked at number 12 on the US Billboard Hot 200 albums chart. Songs such as Hold On Till May, featuring vocals from Lindsay Stamey, would become classic Pierce the Veil songs even to this day. The album was certified gold by the RAA after selling more than 500,000 copies, the band's only record to date to achieve this feat. Riding off the success of the album, the band headlined the Collide with the Sky tour in the UK and the US.
And it is presented by Rockstar.
This tour went very well, with the band almost selling out all of the dates in the tour and being joined by Sleeping with Sirens. To start off the new year, Vic announced that he was already back in the studio writing songs with Tom Denny. Throughout the following months, the group toured with bands such as Memphis Mayfire, Mayday Parade, and All Time Low, all throughout the United States and Europe. While traveling the world on tour, the band decided to film their experiences for a documentary set to release in late 2013 titled This is a Wasteland. This is not the only non-musical endeavor the band would take, however, releasing a collection of hot sauces throughout the year.
We have this hot sauce. Our record label Fearless was like, let's make it happen. And I remember the day we got it sent to us, and it was like our taste test, so we like opened it up all like Christmas Day style, and we're like, this is the best hot sauce of all time.
We've got the normal, the first.
En Fuego.
En Fuego, we put that out first. We put out a new green one called
Verde Diablo.
Diablo Verde. Yeah.
Back to the music side of things, they would have no new releases this year. However, Vic would feature on All Time Low's smash hit song, A Love Like War. The impact of this song was massive, selling over 500,000 units and winning Song of the Year at the 2014 APMA Awards. The success of this song and their previous tour brought the two bands very close, and they would continue to work on projects and tour together in the coming months. 2013 would continue to be a successful year for the band, winning Band of the Year at Rock Sound's Reader Awards, and winning a Kerrang! Award for Best Video for their King for a Day music video. In the latter half of 2013, the band continued to stay busy, supporting A Day to Remember on tour, once again joined by All Time Low. 2014 saw a significant drop in tour dates for the group. They announced a joint tour with Sleeping with Sirens in November, with no tours until then. The band also announced a new album that was set to release in 2014, but the project would be delayed, with the new release date set in 2015. They brought home more awards this year, however, winning Best Live Band at the 2014 APMA Awards, as well as Jaime and Mike winning Best Bassist and Best Drummer awards respectively. In November, the band set off on their world tour with Sleeping with Sirens and closed out the year. As 2015 rolled around, fans who were excited for a new album release would be disappointed, with an announcement that the project would be delayed once again. Fans would not be completely disappointed, however, as a single called The Divine Zero was released in June.
Yeah, we put Divine Zero out
And why did you choose that song? What made it
the
that
record
song?
has a lot of different style songs, and that one just felt right for the tour. You know,
It suited a Warped Tour kind of crowd, so.
This song saw the band sounding much more polished than they had been on their previous projects, and left fans excited for what was to come in the following year. Even with no new album this year, the band toured much more than they had in their previous years, spending the first 4 months of 2015 on tour with Sleeping with Sirens, although they were certainly feeling the strain of touring after taking such a long break and realizing that they were not young anymore.
We played our first show in like almost a year last night. It was awesome. It was like sold out, and it was a great time at the time. And then we woke up this morning.
Yeah, I got hit by a bus, just straight. Just like, you kind of realize you're like, you're not young anymore. You're getting older every day.
Shortly after the end of that tour, they once again featured on the Vans Warped Tour lineup and played all of the dates. Unfortunately, Tony was not able to perform at the majority of these dates due to a mountain biking accident. He suffered a collapsed lung and shoulder, a broken sternum, and 3 broken ribs as a result of the crash. Fortunately, he would make a full recovery and join the band on their second leg of their world tour with Sleeping with Sirens at the end of 2015 in Europe.
I'd like to tell you that everything went as planned, but it didn't. I'd like to tell you that we never lost our way, even when the roads got too dark to see. But we did. I'd like to tell you that there's an explanation, a reason that all of this happened the way that it did. But there is none. These are our misadventures.
2016 would finally be the year in which fans would receive a new Pierce the Veil album. They worked once again with producer Dan Corniff and have stated he is their go-to producer.
You know, I've always heard about bands being like, oh yeah, we have this, our producer, he's our guy, and I've always dreamed about having that person on our team of someone we can rely on and do records with all the time and make them better and better, and I think we found that in Dan.
He's the sneaky 5th member of Pierce the Veil.
The second single from the album, Texas is Forever, was released in March. Much like in The Divine Zero, Vic's vocals were much more polished, and the instrumentals had definitely seen improvement as well. In April, the third and final single, Circles, was released.
Circles, did I read that song was inspired by some friends who had survived the Paris shooting?
It was after that all happened, and I saw the interviews from Eagles of Death Metal, and they were saying how the thing that hit me the hardest was when one of the members said that a lot of them were just trying to save their friends, and I was just imagining, if I was at a show, I'd probably be doing the same thing, where's my buddy, we're all trying to get out of here together, and so, at the end of the day, we ended up writing Circles about two friends trying to, help each other out of a bad situation, and that was kind of the general, positive spin on it.
On May 13th, the band's long-anticipated 4th studio album, Misadventures, was released. To coincide with the release, they played a show in Mexico City as the album dropped. When asked about the meaning of the album's title, Vic had to say this.
We threw around a lot of different album titles. It felt, like it defined the experience.
The album was received well by critics and casual listeners alike. peaking at number 4 on the US Billboard Hot 200 Albums chart, their highest charting album to date. Many praise the excellent production work and Vic's polished vocals.
I'm sure you guys have been asked this a million times, but why did the CD take so long?
We finished the music fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And then it was all on me to write like all these lyrics. And I was just sitting there being like, I don't like this room anymore. Like, I've been in here for months doing all this music that I was just like, I felt like we weren't gonna do the music justice with what we had
at the beginning.
So I was just like, let's get out on tour. Let's leave the studio for a minute.
Clear your head, kind of.
Clear our heads. Yeah. Let's go. And because I wanted each song to have like its own story, you know. So if you were to ask me about any song on this record, you and I could talk about it for like an hour, because like each one is very unique in the
real
in the
specific
meaning.
story behind each
Yeah.
song.
So and I always found that those were our best songs, or the ones that really came from something really specific, and so that's what we kind of reached for, and we kind of waited till we had all that.
Throughout the rest of the year, the band went on multiple US and European tours to help promote the album's release. Throughout the first half of 2017, the band continued their heavy touring cycle with support from other large bands such as Sum 41 and Falling in Reverse. However, late in 2017, everything would change for the band. In November, a tweet was posted detailing allegations of sexual abuse against Mike. He was alleged to have had sex with a 16-year-old girl at Warped Tour in 2008 while he was 24, as well as soliciting explicit images from her online. Less than 48 hours later, another girl spoke out, claiming that he had asked her for nudes when she was only 15. With these bombshell allegations, the band would put out a statement explaining that Mike would be stepping away from the band to focus on his personal life, and they would be canceling their upcoming tour with All Time Low. With the pending allegations, the band would take a break from touring for a while and have not done a tour again to this day. Over the next couple of years, the band was much less active in the music scene. In July of 2018, Vic announced that they were beginning to work on their 5th studio album, and the band would post occasional updates on its progress in the months to follow. In 2019, Vic made a post on Twitter announcing that he had started running a non-profit organization called the Living the Dream Foundation. The goal of the organization was to give young adults and children with life-threatening diseases the chance to meet their idols or go to special events that they've always wanted to attend.
Our mission statement is, together we make dreams come true for children and young adults living with life-threatening illnesses. The way that we do this is by providing what we call Dream Days. Dream Days are literally everything to us. They can include meeting their heroes, VIP access to concerts and special events, hospital visits, and a chance to forget about their hardships for a little while and to just focus on the moment.
The Living the Dream Foundation is a great cause in my opinion, and has allowed many people to experience things they never would have gotten to otherwise. As 2019 passed and 2020 rolled around, there was no new hope for any tour announcements from the group as the coronavirus pandemic hit and ceased touring plans for everyone. In April, the band released a YouTube video talking to their fans about how difficult the pandemic has been, as well as playing a home performance of their song, Hang On Till May. The video garnered some criticism from fans, however, though, as Mike was prominently featured in it. People began to question Vic on social media, and he responded to a comment, confirming that Mike had not been part of the band since 2018. He also assured fans that Mike would not be appearing on the new album. At the end of 2021, we received some major updates on the state of that new album. In October, the band revealed on Instagram that they were in the studio working on it. They also revealed that Paul Miani would be on production and filling in as drummer for the project. Some may know Paul as the former lead singer of the band Mute Math, however he also has writing and production credits with bands such as 21 Pilots. The band has continued revealing progress on Instagram, and I'm predicting that there could be a new Pierce the Veil project sometime this year in 2022. The band also has a show scheduled for 2022, appearing at the When We Were Young festival in October. Throughout the years, Pierce the Veil have proven to be one of the most successful bands in the pop-punk scene. Many bands tend to fall off after a few years, but with over a decade of success, Pierce the Veil have shown that they're here to stay. They've proven themselves time after time in the music as well, with songs such as King for a Day and Paraphernalia being staples in their discography, as well as classic punk anthem. The band have also gotten to work with many big-name producers and artists throughout their flourishing career. What's your favorite Pierce the Veil song or album? Let me know in the comment section down below, and if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe for more videos just like this. My name is Band Prevail, and I'll see you guys next time. Woo! Let's go!